Hey, what's up guys? So Best and West here, and we're gonna be doing something a little bit different today. I'm not gonna do too much editing on this. Pretty much I'm just gonna do some practice battles for the Tempest Cup. The reason why I just wanted to put this out there in case you guys wanted to see what kind of battles I'm doing and what I'm testing and what I'm looking for. It's not going to be too much analysis, but I hope you guys can take something away from it. So the Tempest Cup is pretty interesting so far from what I've seen. It's pretty rock, paper, scissory. So what I mean by that is that if you win the first matchup, you pretty much won the match. So let's just get to it. I send out Altaria, he sends out Mantine. Altaria, from what I found, is super strong. Dragon Breath does so much damage. Mantine has an interesting moveset, but I get a Sky Attack off first, and he's gonna block that. I think this is actually a matchup good for Altaria, but I mess up right here. Sends out Ice Beam, I forget that he has Ice Beam, and my Altaria goes down. I send out Lantern as a rebuttal, so he decides not to switch right here. He gets a charge move off. I decide not to block it. It's Ice Beam, so Lantern's water typing resists that. So I use Thunderbolt. So Mantine is flying in water, so it's double weak. So that instantly knocks him out. But he was ahead anyway, so he got like a quarter of my health already. So he sends out Bomb and Snow. I have to get out of there as soon as I can. Bomb and Snow with Razor Leaf is just too much damage. So I send out Charizard. He counters with his shiny Charizard, and I go ahead and use Blast Burn. He blocks that. He's gonna probably use Dragon Claw. Is that right? Yep, Dragon Claw. I block that. Charizard super squishy, but he gets another Dragon Claw off. I'm trying to get Blast Burn off, but it didn't go off. I don't know what happened. So I send out my Lantern again. He's gonna get another move off, but it's my last one, so last Pokemon. So I go ahead and block that. I get off a few more, but I already know what's coming. A Bomb and Snow. I end up using Thunderbolt. Not very effective damage, and a Bomb and Snow knocks me out. So things to take away from that one. Remember, Mantine has Ice Beam. Otherwise, I think it's a favorable matchup for Altaria. So Altaria versus Mantine. Mantine has Sky Attacks. I'm sorry, Flying Attacks. It has Ice Beam as a charge move. It has Aerial Ace as a charge move, and I think it has a Water Attack as well. I forgot exactly what it was. Might be Hydro Pump. So Mantine can also have Bubble. So Bubble's a good move as well. So you just kind of gotta guess what Pokemon it is. So he sends out a Bomb and Snow against my Altaria. This is a good matchup for me. He's probably gonna switch pretty soon. If he doesn't, Altaria's Sky Attack's just gonna do a lot of damage. So he goes ahead and uses Mantine. So I send out Altaria. I'm sorry, my Altaria gets a Sky Attack off. He does not block that. So you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So Ice Beam. I blocked that, so this is gonna knock out his Mantine. I'm just gonna charge energy and just wait for the next Pokemon. So at this point, I'm down one shield, but I have a Pokemon advantage. So he sends out Charizard, so I'm gonna get another Sky Attack off. Dragon Breath charges so fast, guys. Knocks him down to like a quarter health. He's gonna get a move off. I decide to shield this. Because Dragon Claw is going to deal so much damage, but I knock out his Charizard. He has only a Bomb and Snow left. Sky Attack will completely destroy it if he doesn't block. So he ends up blocking that. Dragon Breath, Dragon Breath, Dragon Breath. He's going to get this move off, and it's going to knock out my Altaria pretty much. I don't know. I should have gotten that Sky Attack off, but I send in Lantern and knock him out. So I go ahead and message Zayzilla back. It's like, Lantern got his revenge. Because a second ago, Lantern got owned by Bomb and Snow, so this time, Lantern got his revenge against a Bomb and Snow. So going into this next one, I'm going to show a little bit about like which Pokemon, show you like which Pokemon I'm considering. But here's my team composition. So I'm going to lead off with Lapras, Lantern, and then Charizard. I'm just kind of testing out different team combinations, but this is a Legacy Lapras with Ice Shard and Ice Beam. So you'll see how it goes against a Lapras with Water Gun, Surf, I think. So I believe technically the Lapras with Water Gun will win in this specific mirror match, but it's gonna be so close that I don't think it'll matter too much. So he ends up using Blizzard, but Lapras is double resistant against Ice, so it's not a good move against Lapras, because Ice resists Ice and Water resists Ice, so it's double resist. So I go ahead and keep on using Surf. He decides to block that one, so now I'm up a shield. He decides to switch, but when he switches, I can also switch, and I have Charizard, so this is super good matchup for me. I don't even think I use a charge move. I just go ahead and save my energy, save it for the next Pokemon, which is Lapras. I go ahead and get my Dragon Claw off right away. He decides to block that. Now I'm gonna block this because my Charizard is super squishy. So I decide to get my Dragon Claw off because his Water Gun is dealing super effective damage against me. He's going to send out his own Charizard, so he should win this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and block this because I have my Blast Burn charged up already. And watch how much this Blast Burn does. And that's not very effective, okay? So that just goes to show you how strong Blast Burn is, and how squishy Charizard is. So I win that battle with an extra Pokemon, and as you saw, it's very swingy. This tournament's very swingy. So moving on to the next one. I'm sorry, I cut out my team selection, but we're gonna get to it. So I lead off with Whiscash. So you guys might have these two Pokemon from the Boulder Cup, but I have Mud Slap and Mud Bomb on it. So I go ahead and use Mud Bomb. He decides not to block that, so whatever move he has, I'm pretty sure it's Surf. Yep, it would deal a good amount of damage to me too, but I decided to block that. I get another Mud Bomb off. He decides to block that one. Just going back and forth. He has another move. I decide not to block this one, so it does a lot of damage, but Whiscash is pretty tanky. So I get another Mud Bomb off. He decides to block that one, and now I get another Mud Bomb off. I'm kind of surprised right here, but ends up knocking him out. Now this is where the advantage is. I get to see what Pokemon he has and pick a direct counter to his Pokemon. So I sent out Lantern. This is a good matchup for me because, again, flying attacks are not very effective against Lantern, while this Thunderbolt will deal super effective damage to it, as you can see. And so Lantern mirror match, pretty much I'm just going to try to do as much damage as I can and then send in Charizard, which gets owned by Lantern pretty much. But we'll see how much damage I can do. So I do have a shield, and I decided to shield this because he has Hydro Pump, and I knew he was charging for a while, so I needed to reduce the risk. So right here is where I lag out, and I end up losing this match just because of that lag out. So I'm just going to yeah, as you can see, it lagged, but I was able to switch in. I don't know what happened. Get that Dragon Claw off and win that match. So moving right along, I'm going to show you a little bit of my team making decisions. So Lapras, right, is a water type, gets countered by electric Pokemon. So I sent out Whiscash and Zapdos. I just wanted to try Zapdos just to see if it's viable in this cup. I know I probably don't have the optimal moves for it, so we're just going to see how it works. So Lapras send out against Altaria. This is a favorable matchup to me because I have Ice Shard, so he switches right away, a Bomb of Snow. So I don't have a direct counter to it, so I just try Zapdos, and Bomb Snow is dealing not very effective damage to Zapdos, and you see how much damage he's taking. So I get Zap Cannon. He blocks that really easily. Charge Beam, I think, is what I have on Zapdos, and it wasn't charging nearly fast enough. Did get a good amount of damage. I had to send Lapras back in and just pretty much get owned because Whiscash is double weak against grass types. So yeah, Lapras is gonna go down before I could get that Surf off. Now watch how much damage Razor Leaf was doing. In 3 Razor Leaves, I'm down to like less than half my health. So I get this Mud Bomb off. Feels not very effective, but does knock him out. Yeah, Razor Leaf against the Mud Bros, the Mud Water, the Ground Water types is just not going to work out that well. So since Altaria, this is a bad matchup. Unless I can get a Blizzard off. I don't know why I kept on using Mud Bomb, but I did. Probably because I was afraid that I was going to get knocked out. But anyways, once I realized I didn't have a counter for Abomasnow, that match was pretty much set. So moving on to the next one. Let's see what I decide. So I'm just trying things out again, like I mentioned earlier, and looking up and down my list. From early testing, I think I really like Lantern, I really like Lapras, I like Skarmory, I like Abomasnow, I like Whiscash. There's a few Pokemon that I really like, and you'll see me kind of messing with those. So moving right along, Lapras against Altaria. Again, this is a great matchup for me because Altaria is double weak against ice and my Lapras has double ice moves. So I knew he was going to switch over to Abomasnow. I said in my Charizard, this is great. Abomasnow is double weak against fire. Again, I knock out his Abomasnow with Fire Spin. So I go ahead and get this Dragon Claw off. If he doesn't block this, it's going to deal a lot of damage, as you can saw. And I charged up a bunch of energy from Abomasnow. So I get another one. He blocks that one though. I should get one more Dragon Claw off before my Charizard faints. He decides to block that one and use a charge move, Dragon Pulse. And so I'm going to send in Lapras. This should be a favorable matchup and knock him out. So I'm saving up my energy for this next Pokemon. Go ahead and just use Surf right away. So Charizard will deal super effective damage. He has no more shields either. Get another Surf off, and that's it. I used 1 3/4 of a Pokemon with no shields. So like I mentioned, if you have the correct counters and the ideal Pokemon, matches can be very swingy. So we're going to move right along to this next matchup. I lead off with Lantern, Steelix, and Charizard. So leading off with Lantern. Lantern is a great Pokemon. It only has one weakness, I think, in this meta, which is Ground. And it's good against Skarmory. It's good against any flying type because of its electric typing. And it's good against Ground itself. So the water typing can deal neutral damage against ice. It's resistant to ice. It's just a great Pokemon overall, in my opinion, that just does solid damage. And it has great bulk. Its stamina stat, I think, is like 190 something at around 1500. So I highly recommend Lantern if that's the route you go. Again, it's based on how comfortable you are with the Pokemon you pick, but I feel Lantern's going to be one of the strongest Pokemon in this cup and most utilized Pokemon in this cup because it doesn't have that many weaknesses. So jumping into it, I lead off with Lantern. He has Abomasnow, so I know I have to instantly switch. So there's like a switch error. So it took a little bit of time for me to get that, but I switch to Charizard. He sends to Whiscash, which is an okay counter, I guess, but not the ideal counter because he's using Mud Slap, I think. And so I know I have to block this though, but I didn't. Or because he didn't charge that much and I decided not to block it. Because Blizzard will deal a good neutral damage to to Charizard, and that will pretty much knock him out. So I go ahead and get this Dragon Claw off, and I think he charged up enough now and using Blizzard. Yep. So he used Blizzard and I blocked that one. Get another Dragon Claw off, and if he doesn't block this, he's out. Yep. So knocked out Whiscash. So now I'm kind of curious to see what Pokemon he's gonna send out. Whoa, that was kind of weird. Oh, so I knew he was gonna pick a counter to my Charizard, and I instantly switched to Lantern. So Lantern's gonna deal some damage here, but I know Lantern's gonna fall to this Abomasnow. So I send out Charizard. He has a charge move, and I have to block this because I'm trying to knock out his Abomasnow with my Charizard. So I do that. And now he's going to send out Lantern, knocks out my Charizard instantly. So I have a Steelix, and this is not a good matchup, especially with no shields. He has a Hydro Pump charged up, and boom, my Steelix goes down. So yeah, that kind of shows you, even if you play it pretty well, if you have a bad first matchup, the match is pretty much over. Like, it's really hard to recover from that from a one Pokemon difference or like a switch disadvantage, especially one where there's so many counters in this cup. You can kind of see from this infographic that I pulled. I actually don't know the source of this, but pretty much you can see the different Pokemon that can be used in this cup. It's so wide open, but yeah, pretty much it's just so wide open. The flying type pretty much has every type under the sun. So with that being said, it's really hard to try to guess what Pokemon is gonna, like, there's probably a direct counter to it somewhere somehow, right? Like, every Pokemon in this cup has a counter. There's no like Azumarill in the Twilight Cup. Azumarill, even if it was weak against something, it was tanky enough and it had the resistances to pretty much everything, right? Like, there wasn't something that would just deal tons of damage with like a fast attack. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time. This was just practice rounds. Hopefully you guys could take something away from it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time, guys, catch you guys later.